what's up? This is Coach Stokes, Stokes Boxing Academy. You got to stay ready so you ain't worry about getting ready.
Yo, 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 what's going on? This is Coach Stokes. Welcome to Coach Stokes' Champion Creed. Today's I'm very privileged of sitting down with the phenomenal Stacia Suttles, hailing from the Bronx, New York, aka known as the Boogie Down. Stacia's journey in boxing began in 2014, propelling her to extraordinary heights with an impressive record as a four-time Team USA boxer member, eight-time national and international medalist, and a two-time Olympic trialist. She recently clinched the silver at the U.S. Olympic trials in December. When she's not pursuing her Olympic aspirations, Stacia dedicates herself to nurturing both athletic and personal development through her renowned Suttles Boxing Academy. Get ready to be inspired as we dig into what it truly takes to be a champion with one of the best in the nation, the one and only Stacia Suttles. How you doing, Stacia?
Thank you. Well, thank you for having me. I'm feeling good and happy to be here.
I appreciate you. Thank you for taking your time out because I know you're a busy young woman. I do have a few questions for you. What inspired you to pursue boxing, especially coming from the Bronx?
Yeah, so I did martial arts my whole life. Like I started karate at 4 years old. My dad wanted my brother and I to have something to do. So, he put us in karate and I loved it from the start for me. So I loved martial arts growing up. I did taekwondo also growing up. And so I've always loved martial arts. When it came to boxing, at the time I wasn't doing anything, no sports. I was in school, but I knew that sports was something that I needed to like kind of settle me down and give me that discipline and drive that I've always had growing up. So it was either going back to Taekwondo or starting something new like boxing. And that's when I decided to start boxing. And literally from the jump, it was something that I liked, and it just continued to grow from a like to a hobby to, okay, now this is something I'm really passionate about. So, yeah.
Stacia, boxing is a different beast. I tell anyone. I feel like we don't choose boxing; it chooses us. And
Mhm.
with that being said, how many times have you ever, or I should ask, have you ever pondered on saying like, you know what, this may not be for me, or you know what, maybe I should stop? Because every fighter that I know has gone through that, even myself, when I used to box. Have you ever hit that pinnacle ever in your career?
I never hit a pinnacle of wanting to stop per se, but during COVID, yeah, I was kind of forced to stop in a way, forced to take a break. And then I started working a full-time job and just life was happening. So I ended up taking a 3-year break from competing. And during that time period, it wasn't like I don't want to go back to competing or anything like that. It was kind of just me going with the flow of, that time period and just being present within that, season of my life. And always kind of in the back of my head knowing that I wanted to come back to competing. And the time, it became perfect that I did come back when I did. But before that, prior to that break, I never really felt like, "Ugh, I want to break from boxing or I don't want to box anymore." It was something that, like I said, I truly did enjoy doing and I still do enjoy doing. And it always felt natural because I loved martial arts growing up. I loved training, I loved competing, and just working hard and pushing myself. So it really felt like, and still does feel like, just something that it was meant for me to do.
Would you say that the 3 year hiatus that you took, it actually pushed you even closer to boxing?
Yeah, 100%, 100%. I can absolutely say that, because the 3-year break, I was still training, not as someone preparing for a fight or, someone preparing for, hopefully the Olympics and things, but I was still
Mhm.
training, still running, still going to the gym, still, training at home and things of that nature. But that 3-year break definitely showed me like, okay, I know what my potential is, and if I want to reach that potential or get as close as I can to that potential, like I've got to push even harder and I've got to work even harder. So that 3 year break definitely helped me mentally and physically as well.
Definitely. I know at least two coaches that I've seen you you've worked with, very good coaches, Coach Gloria Peak, and then your coach now, Coach Eric Harding. You know what? You're very fortunate because I've been in this game for over 37 years, and I've seen people where, it's like, wow, you with that coach, or wow, you're with that coach. That's a really, really good coach. So
Yeah.
it seems like I tell any individual, you are who you are attracted to, and you always are attracted to great coaches. I've seen some guys where they get coaches and it's like, man, oh my gosh, what are you doing, man? This person don't know anything. So with that
Yeah.
being said, how was it working with Coach Peak, and how is it working with Coach Eric Hardy?
Yeah, well, first off, I want to say it has been quite the journey to even get the coaches that I've been able to get. So I'm blessed and grateful, and but it was a journey, I've had dark moments with some coaches, and it took me getting through those dark moments to find these great coaches that I've been able to work with. So Coach Peak, man, nothing but respect to her. I love her as a person, firstly, and a coach as well, and just a woman, a mentor. She's just amazing. I met her during my 3 year break from competing. And it was at that time, so I met her August 2022. During that time, it was the summertime of August 2022 or prior. So August or summer of 2021 is when I was like, okay, I want to get back into competing. Like my urge to compete had grown. And so I made a plan for 2022 to come back to competing. And it was literally just by the grace of God that I went to a women's boxing conference in Atlantic City, New Jersey. I met all of these amazing women and coaches and, female boxers. And Coach Peak was amongst one of those coaches that were there.
Mhm.
And first of all, just off of just speaking with her, just regular, and I just felt the connection with her. I felt that she was very genuine and most of all also knew her boxing. Like she has the knowledge.
Yes.
So at this time, I didn't have a coach. I didn't have a gym. She invited me to her gym. We texted after a while and I was like, oh, actually her gym is very like kind of near where I live. It's over in New Jersey, but I don't mind taking that 45-minute, drive to get to her. And from the first training session, I loved it. She came in with a plan. She knew exactly what all of us were going to be doing that day. She knew what we were going to be working on for the week. And that's what I like. I like structure. I like, a coach that just knows what we're going to be doing. I want to go to the gym and know that I'm improving. Even if it's just 1% that day, I want to know that I went in and I did what I needed to do. And so training with her and training with that entire team was an amazing experience. We all pushed each other. We all had goals to just get better and perform well. And so it was just amazing to be able to train with her. Unfortunately, she did leave the gym that we were training at. So that kind of forced me to look elsewhere for training, but such an amazing experience to be able to train with her and then now have her as like a mentor and friend as well.
Definitely, definitely. Um, I'm looking at you. I've been around you. I've seen you in and out of the ring, Stacia, and you do not fit the normal stereotypical type when it comes to being a boxer. On the outside, you look at you aesthetically, you are the perfect role model, chiseled, everything. But then when I'm speaking to you, and I'm loving this because a lot of people get the idea that boxers are not intelligent. Boxers do not have a vernacular where they can speak, and with good sentence structure. And this
Mhm.
is evident right here. This young lady right here, highly intelligent, one of the best boxers in the nation. And as you can see, she knows what she wants. With that being said, what is your normal day look like when it comes to training?
Yeah. Well,
So
firstly,
go ahead.
thank you. Because I hear that all the time. Like, you don't look like a boxer, you don't sound like a boxer. But at the end of the day, every and anyone can box, even if you don't want to compete. It's a sport that can help people in so many ways and help to improve people in so many ways. So, I love martial arts because of that and boxing. It doesn't matter who or where you come from, you can do it if you really want to. So that's that. As far as my regular like training schedule, typically I will wake up in the morning and do a 1 to 2 hour training session. So it might be um, a run with some shadow boxing and some like technical drills. And then in the afternoon or evening, I'll do my full-on boxing training with my boxing coach. And then it really does depend. So I also like to put in some strength and conditioning as well. And that'll be either in the morning or the afternoon, but 2 to 3 training sessions every day, 5 to 6 days a week is what I'm doing.
Okay. Now you said you have your own business, correct?
Yes.
Can you please let us know and please go ahead and sell it, man, on my show. What is your business exactly and what is it that you do?
Yeah, so in short, I own and run Suttles Boxing Academy. And what we do is we help people to develop athletically, but also personally through our boxing program. So similar to you sending your kid to school and, hoping that they're going to develop socially, hoping that they're going to develop emotionally, but also learn, knowledgeable skills for life. That's
Mhm.
what, I'm doing with my boxing program. It's for children, it's for adults, it's for the athlete, it's for the everyday person. Really just trying to do and be their best self. Through our program, we help them to do that.
It's outstanding. That's outstanding.
Thank
Um,
you.
how do you balance the demands of being a high level elite athlete and being a coach and being a business owner as well?
Yeah. I think my 3 year break really helped me to do that.
Yeah.
Because, and in the beginning of my journey, in the beginning of my boxing journey, I was so focused on like boxing, 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 and solely my training. And it really showed me like this isn't good. You can't only put all of your effort and eggs into this one basket. Not saying that it's not going to work out, but there's other areas in your life that deserve your time and
Right.
patience. And so, my 3 year break really showed me, okay, let me try to put effort into all these other areas of my life as well. So when I came back to boxing, I was able to like seamlessly fit boxing again back into my life, but still I have all these other areas of my life that I'm focusing on. So, how I do it is not easy. I'd really try to schedule out my weeks. I schedule my months. I schedule my days. I'm very meticulous about where my time is going, what I'm doing with my time. And my planner, I have it right over there. It's a written planner, it's not on the computer. I write out everything. And I really just try to stay, focused on what I'm doing and how I'm doing it and be really intentional about it. And I feel like a good support system has been tremendously helpful for me. My girlfriend is extremely supportive and
Oh,
as
good.
helpful as she can be with me as far as my boxing, as far as my regular life, as far as work goes, my family as well. And then the various mentors in my life are really, really helpful as well to just keep me grounded and just letting me know like you're doing the best you can. I'm here to support you, but just keep on doing you. And that helps me as well.
I like how you said it because you are you're not allowing the sport to work you, but you're working the sport.
Hmm.
And I tell so many of them, it's such a fast life where you could be here today, gone tomorrow, and then they forget about you. Unfortunately, we live in that "what have you done for me lately" type of environment,
Hmm.
but seize the day, do the most while you can, and you definitely are doing that. You definitely are doing it. I appreciate you for sharing that. And how you say, you have to have that good team as well. You have the backing, you have the proper people around you. But one key word that you said was meticulous. You have to be very meticulous. You have to, and my wife tells me this all the time. Yeah, I hear you, baby. I hear you. Stacey has reaffirmed definitely. So you have to be meticulous, and I love the fact that you have a planner because
Yes,
I have
yes.
one
Right
as
on
well.
paper is what it's all about.
Definitely, definitely, definitely. Um, what mental strategies do you employ to stay focused and motivated during intense training?
Um, I think the main thing is doing my best to stay present in all the areas of my life and then in training. And I think it goes back to, again, like the things that I implement in my training are things that I implement in my regular everyday life. For example, I write down in the morning 3 things that I'm grateful for. And that allows me to write in the morning, being present and allowing myself to be grateful for, things in my life, just 3 things. It could be something random. Like today, I was grateful for sunlight, daylight. And then at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if it was a great day or a terrible day, I'm writing down 3 wins and then 1 thing that I can do better for the next day. So, whether it was the worst day of the week, I'm still writing down 3 things that I felt were a win for that day. And so I do that same thing when it comes to training. Before training, I'm writing down, 3 things that I want to be intentional about for that training session. So whether it's a great training session or a terrible training session, as long as I was intentional about those 3 things that I really wanted to, be focused on in the training session, then I'm okay. At the end of my training, I'm writing down what went well and what didn't go well. And again, that allows me to be present in the training session. And then at the end, I can review it and then move forward and go on to the next day. And that's been helpful for me in training, in fights, and in life as well.
I am going to it doesn't matter how long you have been in this sport, you can learn from anyone. And I just learned something right there because that's something I'm going to start adopting. I'm going to do. I'm going to make sure that my son and my other fighter do, after each training session because it makes them aware, but at the same time too, they have to be cognizant of where it's like, okay, I did this, I did that. Yeah, I didn't do so
Hmm.
well in sparring today, but you know what? I turned over the jab, or my head was offline. Certain things,
Yes.
and then
Hmm.
on top of that, like you said, they're being educated through the things
Yeah.
that they're doing. I love how you share that. Thank you for for sharing that with me, Stacia.
Yeah, no problem. And again, it just it allows you to look at even the smallest of things, the little details like, dang, maybe my jab didn't land, but you know what? At least I threw it. At least I was throwing it as often as possible.
Yeah.
Maybe my step over wasn't good, but at least I listened to my coach, and just finding those little things and then hopefully improving on them is so important.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. What role has resilience played in your journey to the top?
A huge part of my journey, because I think even the fact that I came back after a 3-year break from competition, I think, shows how dedicated I am to just being my best self and doing what I can. I think I've gone through a lot of my boxing journey, as far as, a quick rise to the top and a fast kind of decline if you kind of look at it as far as like statistics or like as far as my fights go. And being able to get through that and be where I am right now, I think it shows how resilient I am and how hardworking I am. And really how mentally tough, but also faithful I am. I really do have faith. And that's been helpful for me in my journey.
You're if not probably one of the most positive fighters I've been around, because every fighter has a different character, when it comes to them. But you're very positive, you're very forthcoming. I remember we were walking to the ring. I was helping assist with you, and I grabbed your bag. You said, "No, no, no, no. You can leave my bag right there." I said, "No, I want nobody to steal anything." You said, "Well, it's just a universe." And I looked at you. I said, "Yeah, okay," but I still grabbed the bag. But that just, but no, but that showed me that how you are. How you felt like I felt like you felt like if it's taken, oh well, universe will give it back to
Yeah,
me, it'll come back to me. And whatever, if that person took it, then karma will come on to them, whatever the case may be. But
yeah.
that made me look at you like, wow, like you're a very positive person.
Yeah.
Can you
Thank you. Definitely very trusting, sometimes to a fault, but I try to keep that trusting, attitude.
right. Can you share a particular challenging moment in your career um that had happened to you and how you overcame that?
Yeah, as I said, I've been through many different challenging moments, but I think the most challenging that stands out to me is battling depression. So to kind of give you a backstory, I won national championships 2016, my first national championship. So here I am, pretty new to the sport. I make the team. I'm on the team 2017. I win a huge international gold medal, biggest European or biggest international tournament in Europe. I win that tournament, get best female boxer of the tournament. So here now I have all these high expectations from what it looks like from my eyes at this time. Um, just a lot of big things people are expecting from me, I think, because now I'm winning big tournaments and I'm fairly new to the sport.
Yeah.
And then I start losing these big tournaments. I go to World Championships in 2018. I lose that tournament. I go back to national championships and I lose again. So big wins followed by some big losses. And this led to now in 2019, I battled depression from, maybe December 2018, January 2019, all the way through until about March, April 2019. So very difficult time period in my life. I mean, difficult to get out of bed, hard for me to leave my house, barely my room. Training was damn near non-existent. It was a very, very challenging time for me. And, the Olympic trials for 2020 were
Yeah.
December of that year.
Hmm.
So at this point, I'm, battling so, mostly mentally. In my own head, it's just a battle every day. Like, oh, you're not good enough. You're not going to win because you haven't been winning. All these very challenging, self-defeating thoughts going through my mind, and then also feeling like I didn't have people to talk to about this, like no one would understand. Um, Finally, I started to just like speak up after journaling on my own and finally speaking up to people that I felt I could trust around me. And that helped, it really did help. And ultimately, my mentor and close friend of mine, Reese Scott, owner of Women's World of Boxing, she gave me a book called The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. And I mean, I attribute this book to just changing my life. It changed my mindset. It changed my perspective on life, which it helped me tremendously. So I think for me, talking about what I was going through, talking about how I was feeling, and then reading this book really helped me a lot. It just changed my perspective. It totally, I was thinking in one way, and when I read that book, my thought process completely changed. My outlook on other people around me completely changed as well. And then just like putting in some action, like slowly but surely putting in some action. And I was able to get out of depression. I was able to
Good.
ultimately get back to competing again, get back to training again. And I fought in the Olympic trials. I ultimately came up short, but I was really, really proud of myself for even just making it there and getting there. And yeah, that was probably the toughest part of my journey.
Did you talk to anyone during that time? Did you see a counselor or, a therapist?
No, so I wasn't seeing a therapist at that time specifically, but I ultimately did start seeing a therapist, and that was really, really helpful.
That's good.
And I'm so thankful to her because financially I was unable to afford it, but she did see me pro bono, which is, man, again,
All right.
just so grateful. It's like I said, I mean, I put out good and so many good things come back to me, thank God, because that was a moment for me that I really did need that help and I was able to get it.
That's outstanding because, as you know, it's really expensive, but I'm glad that the village came together because
Hmm.
you are a very good person and it's going to come back. It's always going to come back to you, Stacia. So I'm glad you share that because I am somebody that has dealt with depression as well. And when you do it, it's like you out there by yourself. You really don't know, like
Hmm.
like you're a person on an island by yourself. So
Yeah, exactly.
I feel your pain and I feel that what you went through. So I thank you for sharing that. But as someone that has dealt with that, and from time to time can deal with that. I
Mhm.
know I know my triggers and I know how to deal with those triggers. And it seemed like you have not allowed it to run rush out over you, but you're handling that, that's yourself. And that's an important thing, you know.
Yeah, thank you. And honestly, me going through that has led to all the great things that now I'm able to do. Even
Yeah.
Suttles Boxing Academy is really through that depression that I was able to, come up with some of these ideas and concepts that I have for my business and really trying to help other people because, what I went through isn't unique to me, isn't unique to a lot of people. A lot of us go through it. And I think specifically athletes, boxers, competitors, it is so easy for us to get, I don't want to say caught up because it's not as easy, it's not as simple as that, but it's so easy for us to go through the highs and lows of the winning and losing.
Yes. Yeah.
And we need to know who we are and really stand in that no matter whether you win or lose. And that's why I always preach and try to, say like have your wins and your losses, but ultimately learn from each of those experiences.
Exactly.
Find the wins in the losses, find the lessons in the wins. And I think that will really help us, all of us, to really like stay level-headed, I guess, and not let us get so high and low just based off of what the judges are seeing.
In the sport of boxing, I talk to a lot of athletes and people all the time, and they really see boxing as different from team sports. It's an individual sport. It's a spotlight sport. Where you play by yourself. Excuse me, not play. Where you don't play boxing, as we know, is something that it's a lifestyle.
Hmm.
With that being said, what sacrifices have you had to make in order to pursue your boxing career, Stacia?
I mean, any and all that you can think of, not going out with friends when, I want to, or less now because now I'm a little bit older, so I kind of want to stay home. But,
Yeah.
when I was a little younger, starting in my journey, not going out with friends, not hanging out when I want to hang out, not having Thanksgiving dinner, as big as, typical because
Yeah.
Nationals is a week later, being in camp during my birthdays, holidays, family's birthdays and holidays, being away from family when you're typically with them every year for specific events, and
Yeah.
now you have to be away for a month long. Um, I think recently the biggest challenges or the biggest sacrifices that I've made are really just being away from my family and friends. Um, for example, I'm leaving to Colorado Springs this Thursday, and I'll be gone for a whole month, So it's a sacrifice for not only me, but also my girlfriend and my family to not see me for a whole month. But these are challenges and sacrifices that we're willing to make because we know the bigger picture.
Can you elaborate a little bit more because individuals don't understand in order for you to be successful, especially in the sport of boxing, it's a lonely sport. You have to be somewhat kind of selfish, not in a bad way, but when I say selfish, like you said, your routine. You're gonna get up and run, or you're gonna have workout in the morning, an hour, hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. Your girlfriend knows your schedule. She knows that. Your friends know that for a fact that you won't be coming out. You won't be going to the club. If you're invited to Thanksgiving, when you are invited to Thanksgiving, they probably know like Stacia is not going to eat everything on the smorgasbord because she can't because she's
Right.
losing weight. Um, can you can you elaborate a little bit more when it comes to the family, what they had and having a good team, on your side, in order to be successful? Because this is a sport where it's like no other. You have so many variables that have to play with, their own
Yeah.
part.
Yeah, I think the most important thing is the athlete themselves knowing and really understanding like, okay, what do I have to do to really take myself to the next level? And then knowing that, believing that, understanding that, it kind of makes it easier to like explain it to other people or talk to other people in your close circle. And communicating is just so important. So when you're showing up to Thanksgiving, they know, okay, yeah, she's coming, but we already know what's going on, you know? Um, for example, I don't remember exactly which year, but it was Thanksgiving. And of course, everyone has all the food out. I'm half Puerto Rican, so it's
Okay.
usually Puerto Rican Thanksgiving. So we got everything, all the good food. But my family knew, okay, she's cutting weight. She's actually cutting down to 132 at the time. And so I definitely couldn't eat most of the food there, but my family was super supportive. They made me salmon. They made sure that I had,
Wow.
fresh vegetables there. So they had all their food that, is typical, but they made sure to have the healthier options and the whole food options that were going to be better for me to reach the goals that I had in just a few weeks. And so really having a supportive family is so important. And even if it's not your family, because I know everyone has their own relationships with their family, but so just having supportive system around you, one, two, three, four, just a handful of people that you can count on, whether they're right in your house, whether they're a phone call away or video call away or a text away, just knowing that you have people that can support you on your
Mhm.
journey is just so important because like you said, boxing is like no other. I mean, it could break you, it can make you, but it's up to you to ultimately have like a strong mindset to really get through.
And you know what? I agree with you. Family, family is just not blood. Family is whoever you make,
Yes,
whoever that
absolutely.
support system is. So, I agree with you on that. What
Mhm.
has what does dedication mean to you in the context of being a champion boxer?
Um, to me, dedication in terms of being a champion boxer means honestly doing and trying your best to reach whatever goals you have. Um, And that, me saying that feels like so much growth for me because I remember a time when it just meant to win. It just meant winning. But you can't, there are only so many things that you can control in boxing. And for me, what I can control is my mindset, my performance, my effort. Those are three things that I can control, and I can't control what the judges are gonna see. I can't control other people's actions in and out of the ring. All I can do is control how hard I'm trying. I can control, the performance that I'm putting on and the mindset that I have while I'm in the ring. And so for me, that really is what makes a champion boxer is just how hard are they trying in and out of the ring, in the gym, in the ring, after fighting, how hard are you trying to do and be your best?
Okay. Pressure. We know pressure is something that is apparent in boxing. Boxers are taught to manage pressure where it's like you become comfortable within the situation when it comes to pressure.
Mhm.
How do you manage both internally and externally uh pressure when it comes to high stakes competition?
Yeah, so I think for one is kind of like switching the mindset. So with pressure, kind of sometimes can bring on nerves, but at the same time, if you think like nervous energy is the same as excitement energy, so instead of saying, "Oh, I'm nervous" or "There's too much pressure," I try to think of I'm excited. I'm looking forward to doing what I'm about to do, and then also just remembering like I trained for this, I trained for this moment. So if it's a really hard fight coming up that I know is going to be tough, let's say I know the my opponent is going to be hard, or I know it's a tough tournament coming up. I also remember, okay, I trained for this. I trained really, really hard for this moment. And so whatever I did in sparring, I know I'm going to be able to do in the ring, and thirdly, I think for me, journaling is really, really important. I like to journal, before training, after training. I journal a lot, for life and for my boxing. And it really just helps me to just understand how I'm feeling. So going back to like my wins and my losses and trying to be intentional for my training, I also try to remember like, okay, I had a really good training session this day, what did I eat beforehand? You know, how was my sleep beforehand? You know, how was my, my warm up before training? And those are the things that I try to remember so that when it comes to fighting, I can just take those same practices into my fighting. And so it really does help with just the pressure and just being really present in the moment.
That was good. That was good because there's a lot of fighters that's gonna be watching this because they don't know how to um comfort that pressure where it's like, you get some people that just get so overwhelmed, and I'm pretty sure you've seen it where it's like it was just their nerves.
Yeah.
You seen them do it in the gym, you seen them practice it, and then they get in there and they forget the game plan or it goes far
Mhm.
left.
Yeah.
Um, when it comes to how I used to fight back in the day, I had certain things that I would do. So the day of that morning, I was always quiet. I was that guy, that cat on the side where it's like, leave Stokes alone. He's doing his thing. He got his headphones on. Don't he got everything he needs. Say
Yeah.
minimal things to him. That's the type of individual I was, and I showed that in the ring. But Stacia, what are some of your superstitions or things, things that you do on a regular, before a fight? Like, you gotta have to have your socks a certain way or, whatever. Please share with us, what are those things?
Well, I hate to disappoint. I honestly don't have any superstitions or anything that I do particular. I just try to do my routine really, and that's really it. So for example, my pre-fight routine includes again journaling and setting intentions for my fight. I do like prayer. I pray as well and meditate. And then I just gather all my things and get ready. I go to the venue, and my getting into the ring routine is pretty much the same whether I'm sparring or fighting. And I think that that's really important too, because sometimes we try to do things that we don't do ever. And then on fight day, we do them. And, that works for a lot of people. But I think for me in particular, and I think more people as well will probably agree, if you're doing the things that you're going to do on fight day during sparring, that also gets you ready for the fight. So when I'm going into sparring, I have that same mindset, not kill or be killed or anything like that, but I'm going into sparring just trying to do my best, trying to do and perform my best in sparring. So when I go to fight, that same mindset is there. It's the same mindset. And so my pre-sparring routine is pretty much exactly the same as my pre-fight routine, jumping rope for a certain amount of minutes, making sure that I'm stretching and getting all of my body moving, hips, joints, everything. Stretching, shadow boxing, hitting the mitts. These are all things that I do regularly for my sparring sessions so that when I get into fight mode, it's really the same. It's just now I'm fighting for either a win or a loss.
Got you. Nice answer. I want to ask you this. Do you have any advice for any aspiring boxers who would like to achieve the level of success that you've achieved?
Yeah, I would say to someone who wants to achieve the level of success that I've achieved is to set a goal and work towards it, and then as you're setting your goal and working towards it, adjust adjust how you're going towards it. So, you might have a goal. For example, if I want to win national championships at the end of this year,
Mhm.
that might be the goal. And what I'm going to do to work towards that might be, let's say, training 5 days a week, running 4 to 6 days a week, something like that, just something random, right? But now I'm 2 months into that goal and I'm realizing, okay, I'm getting injured a little bit quickly, or um, I'm not as let's say I'm not as conditioned as I'd want to be. So now, okay, now it's time to readjust my goal. Maybe instead of 4 days a week of running, maybe I want to run 5 days a week. So consistently like writing down your goals and your plan, but also going back to adjust for that, I think is really important, and not being too like, this is what I'm going to do and that's it. Because sometimes things change and that's okay. Go with the flow, but go towards that goal that you have.
Things really change in the sport of boxing. You never know. It never goes accordingly
Right.
planned ever, ever. So
Yes.
that great, great words, great words.
Thank
Um,
you.
how do you see boxing as a vehicle for personal growth beyond the physical aspect when it comes to you?
Yeah, oh man. I mean, I wouldn't be here right now if it were not for the personal growth that boxing has allowed me. Through the depression that I battled in 2019, I really did learn that I can't put all of my focus into boxing because when boxing was not what it was at the time, so like I was saying, 2017, 2018, I'm traveling all around the world. I'm number one in the nation. I'm going to all these big tournaments. And in 2019, when now these things are not happening because I didn't win a national tournament, it put me into depression, and it showed me that now I don't have anything outside of boxing because I ignored all those other things outside of my life. So through that, it just allowed me and showed me that I need to be able to put effort into other things, into my family, into, relationships, whether that be friends and family, into a career, into, I don't want to say a backup plan, but just a larger goal than just a win or one tournament. Now I have such a larger goal, and my larger goal is to just do and be my best self. And everything that I'm doing in my life, from the moment I wake up to the moment I go to sleep at night, is working towards that goal. And now in boxing, I'm working towards that one goal. In Suttles Boxing Academy, I'm working towards that one goal. So every area of my life now is centered around working towards this one large ultimate goal. And so that's really helped me, like, personally in my life. And now that's why wins and losses, they matter, but they don't shake me at all, because I'm looking at it as, okay, how can I learn from this, and how can I do and be better next time? Did I do my best? Yeah, okay, great. Now let's keep on growing, keep on doing better, keep on doing my best. So yeah, boxing has truly, truly helped me personally more than anything.
And you're right when it comes to that because a lot of amateurs, it's called amateur boxing for a reason. You're learning, you're learning,
Hmm.
you're learning, you're learning. And I have to tell, not that you would, pretty sure your coach tell you this all the time. I don't even use the word L. I don't even like that word. I say life lessons. That's just what it is. You're learning right now. Now, once you turn professional, that's when it's going to count. That's when it should count because it's all about that. It's all about, you know, um, winning. But in
Hmm.
amateurs, you're learning, you're learning, you're learning. And I like the fact how you put things into perspective, where once upon a time you may have been scared to lose, where it's like I can't lose because if I lose, I'm
Hmm.
gonna look a certain way. And
Yeah.
I like the fact that you went through that adversity, but then you overcame it and you came back. And I know a lot of it plays with your psyche because it's like, man, I won this tournament, I won this international tournament. Now I come back here and I lose this, I lose that. No, it wasn't that. It was just a path that you had to go through that God had to place you on, and that's
Hmm.
where you're at where you're at today. And
Yeah.
it's gonna keep happening. It's gonna keep happening. It's life. Boxing is
Yeah.
life. Boxing truly
Hmm.
is life. You
Yeah.
get knocked down, you
Absolutely.
get stunned, you come right back. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you for sharing that because you have someone that's out there that's listening to this or going to be listening to this, and they're going through the exact same thing.
Yeah, and that's why I share what I do on my social media and through podcasts and interviews like this, because I know without a shadow of a doubt that there's at least one person out there that needs to hear my story, my journey, but what I'm saying right now, because like I said, boxing is a hard sport. And, if your ego is taking over and your ego is like, we need to win, we need to win, and you lose, I mean, it can shatter you. And that's why I say you really need to know who you are, what you stand for, and ultimately what your goals are. Because I think that's another thing, sometimes in boxing, we don't, or in life really, we don't have ultimate goals. We just have this one event goal, like I want to make it to the Olympics, or I want to win this national tournament. But why do you want to do that? I think that's important to ask yourself as well. Why do you want to win that tournament? Why do you want to win, this particular event? And I think answering that, what is your exact why,
Mhm.
deeper than a national tournament, a national win, a national championship, that really helps you to clear up, like, okay, I want to do this because of this. a loss isn't, or a poor performance isn't going to take away that ultimate goal if you have an ultimate goal.
Definitely, definitely.
Mhm.
You are a coach as well.
Yeah.
Suttles Academy or Suttles Boxing Academy?
Suttles Boxing Academy.
Suttles Boxing Academy. Um, how do you prioritize your coaching when it comes to certain individuals when it comes to training them? So what is it that you're looking at, you're zoning in on, when you putting your coach's hat on?
Yeah. So my coaching hat is, I think, most very different from a lot of coaches in boxing, and that is why I'm doing what I'm doing, because for in one aspect, boxing is very like, if you're not gonna fight, then there's no point in me training you type of mentality that people have.
Yeah.
Whereas, I come from a karate and taekwondo background and martial arts, where any and everyone from any and every background and any and every, fitness level can come and learn the sport. And so I think with my boxing academy, it's very unique because any and everyone can come, any and everyone can learn the sport of boxing, actual boxing techniques and skills, and, really develop.
Hmm.
But as far as like my coaching hat, I am tough on my students, but I'm not going to kick anyone out because they're not, wanting to fight, or they're not getting it correct on the right, time that I'm saying it. It's about developing, personally and athletically. So I'm providing a safe space for my students to learn, to make mistakes, to, just to really develop, like I said, personally first for me, and then athletically.
I think that's very good, being that you said you're allowing them to make mistakes because a lot of individuals, it's nerve-wracking already saying that
Mhm.
you want to box, but then going into a boxing gym,
Yeah.
it can be very intimidating. But then when you stand in front of your coach and you feel like, I gotta get everything perfect, everything has to be correct. If it isn't, I'm gonna get yelled at, or he's gonna put me out in front street in front of everybody. But then when you have a coach that's like, you know what, go ahead, don't worry about it. Make these mistakes now because that's good. That's just gonna further you along. It's gonna make you a lot better individual when it comes in there. But then also it's making you feel like you can come to me without being
Yeah.
judged or me being
Mhm.
judgmental. So that's a great job right there, Stacia. I mean, you're a great fighter and you sound like you're on your way to being a great coach as well. So you know
Thank you.
um
Thank you.
you definitely have been taught well, from the individuals that you've been around. how do you
Yeah.
cult how do you cultivate a winning mindset when it comes to your athletes?
Um, I think it's kind of starts small. So with the athletes that I coach and the people that I coach, so for example, I do a lot with after school programs and school
Good.
programs, summer camps and things like that. So, maybe one of them will actually want to compete in boxing or anything, maybe. And so for me, I really try to keep it fun with the
Hmm.
kids, and with the people that I coach, even the adults, we keep it fun. We have games, and it's all about developing, but also keeping it fun. So as far as an athlete or like a championship mindset, I really do try to incorporate a lot of games to encourage the kids and the athletes that I'm working with to have fun and to work, push themselves hard, but then also on the other side, if you do end up, losing in the game, I encourage a lot of good positive teamwork, just positive team attitude, because at the end of the day, boxing, yes, we are a one person sport, or the person, it's only one person in the ring fighting, but at the end of the day, it takes a team, it takes a
Yeah.
team to really, really, you know, make it to where you want to make it. Not one person is making it to where they are just on their own. It takes a team, whether it's, someone behind the scenes or someone right there with you. So those are the things that I really try to encourage with the people that I teach.
Could you give an example of one of the games that you play? Because I'm intrigued. I'd like to hear, because that's something that I may incorporate with my
Yeah.
athletes.
Yeah. So there's one game that we play. It's kind of called Helicopter. So
Okay.
I basically like swing a rope around and the kids love it. And so basically you either swing it up so they have to duck down and or you swing it low so they have to jump up. So
Okay.
this is just a fun game. It's not necessarily boxing related, but it's a really fun game for the kids to get active and
Right.
moving. And if I did want to make it more boxing related, then I can, it depends on the age group, but then I can say, okay, if you're going to duck, you have to duck with your hands up and in your boxing position. If they don't do it, whether they get hit or not, they're out, you know? So those are the things that we kind of do. And then if they're jumping, again, if you want to make it more boxing related, you have to jump, but in your boxing position with your hands up and jumping up. So
Okay.
basically, you know, you can take any game, literally any game, and make it as non-boxing related as you want or more boxing related.
Got you. Got you. I'm definitely gonna do that. I'm gonna do a video and I'm gonna send it to you and tell me if I'm doing it correctly.
Okay,
I know
sweet.
my son is gonna love it. What's the most
Yeah.
important lesson you've learned while boxing?
Oh man, I have so many. I think so I'm gonna say two. So the one thing is really about balance and just having like a more balanced mindset. Because like I said, when I first started boxing, I just put everything into my boxing journey, and it paid off. You know, I made it on Team USA. I won big tournaments that I wanted to win, and I found myself where I wanted to be, but ultimately mentally and you know relationship wise I wasn't where I wanted to be. You know, my relationships weren't great. My the relationship with my parents were not great and my family wasn't great. My mindset outside of boxing wasn't great and my attitude wasn't great at the time. And so when I finally, you know, when I did hit my depression and when I finally did get out of that, I just realized, okay, I need to put effort into just being my best self as a person, as a daughter, you know, as a girlfriend, eventually, as a sister, not only being the best boxer that I can be, you know, because yeah, I can be the best boxer that I can be and I can win all these tournaments and be on Team USA, but you know, if I have a crappy attitude or, you know, I can't even call my parents because they, you know, annoy me after one, you know, sentence, then that's something I need to work on, especially if I want these people in my life. And so that was something that was really, really important for me is just realizing like, okay, I can be the best boxer that I can be, but I really, really want to be the best person that I can be most of all. And ultimately that will bleed into boxing. So starting with myself was really helpful. And the second thing is never a loss, always a lesson. I always say that, and I will continue to say it because in boxing and in life, it doesn't matter. You know, you might have a low moment, but this too shall pass. You're going to get through it if you
That's right.
just, you know, keep moving forward. Just keep moving forward. And it's never a loss. It's just always a lesson. And hindsight's 2020. You never know until you like get to the other side.
That's dope. That's dope. I like how you put that. How do you stay connected to your community and giving back?
Um, through my boxing journey and now with Suttles Boxing Academy, it's been pretty easy for me to give back. You know, I like to do what I do, you know, as far as these interviews, I love doing interviews to be able to stay connected with people that may not follow me on social media, but may know of me, but may
Hmm.
follow you. And then I work in these after school programs, these summer camps, just various different programs. And I'm able to, you know, first off, teach one-on-one with students, but then I'm able to teach a group of, you know, 30 kids. And so it's amazing to be able to be able to do what I do and for everything to connect in the way that it does. You know, just last week I did a career fair for some students in Harlem. And so that was an amazing
Mm.
opportunity to share my journey with them, but to also give them a new look on what they could possibly do if they really wanted it. And so that's really a way, you know, and social media is huge for me. I really connect with a lot of people via social media, and that's also allowed me a lot of opportunities in and out of the ring and boxing.
Okay, okay. Share one thing about yourself that that would shock most people that only know you as far as you as a boxer. One
Um,
thing.
One thing, let's
Hmm.
see. Um, I took acting classes as a young person.
Really?
Yeah, so I
Really?
mean, I didn't do anything, like I didn't really act or anything, but I did do acting classes for a while.
So do you feel like you would like to get into that in the future one day? It's not off the shelf, is it?
No, it's not off the shelf, but I don't think I would do it. I would more pursue like modeling more. So I
Okay.
did model as well, so I think now I would pursue modeling more than acting.
Okay. 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 All right.
Yeah.
All right. That's all right. Never went on the Apollo or anything like that, did you?
No, no.
Hey, okay, so if you could go back to your younger self and give yourself one piece of advice, what would it be?
Mm. I would tell myself to trust myself, to trust myself. I think growing up, I'm the youngest of three. And I feel like just being in the family that I am in and just being who I am in general, like I'm a Libra, so I'm very indecisive and I try to, see all of the options before making a decision. And sometimes you just don't get all the options. You just got two choices. You got to make a choice. And so I think for me, just I would tell myself, trust yourself, it's okay, just trust yourself and you'll be okay. Because I'm just very sometimes I don't trust myself and then I second guess or I rely on other people's decisions and other people's inputs too much.
Yeah.
And now I'm less relying on that and I'm less hesitant to trust my gut and what I'm thinking and how I'm feeling.
Are you a September Libra or October Libra?
I'm an October Libra,
When's your October what?
October 4th.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, my brother is October 2nd. He's
Okay.
exactly how you said he is. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm a Libra, Libra, Libra all the way.
No, yeah, I'm a Virgo, so yeah, you're right behind me. So I know exactly. I
Okay.
mean, as far as like coming afterwards, so you
hmm
know. Stacia, please share with us any sponsors, any people you like to shout out right now.
Yeah, so first off, I want to shout out my coach, Eric Harding. I'm just so grateful and blessed to have him, in my life as my coach. He knows that. I tell him that almost every day because I really am so grateful. Like I was saying, it was a struggle to find a coach that I can really connect with in this way. So I'm grateful to that. And I'm also thankful to Bob Kane, who owns the boxing gym that I train at, Team Chaos. Just having me there and allowing me to train there has been an amazing experience for me. So thank you to them. Then I just want to thank my sponsors, Eat Clean Bro, a meal prep company, Impact Mouth Guards, my mouth guards, and RX Smart Gear, my jump rope sponsor, and Quiet Punch has been extremely just so grateful to have them in my corner and have them supporting my journey pretty much since the beginning, since I first made the national team. So all of my sponsors, I'm extremely grateful to them and thankful.
Ooh, Stacia, do you have please let the people know how they can contact you through social media, and is that your own brand that you're wearing right there?
Yeah, so this is my logo right here. I make hoodies pretty much every year, once a year I pretty much make hoodies. I will be making more in the future, so they'll be easily accessible through my website. But yeah, this is my hoodie and my brand, Stacia the Natural on Instagram. Pretty much every social media account you can think of, I'm Stacia the Natural on there or Stacia Suttles on Twitter. So yeah, on there. And then also I want to shout out my own business, Suttles Boxing Academy. You can follow me on any social media, Suttles Boxing. And if you're looking to train or just learn boxing, even learn some mindset tips as well, I'm here for that.
Today we had the honor of hearing from the incredible Stacia Suttles, a true embodiment of grit, determination, and perseverance. From her beginnings in the Bronx to her remarkable achievements on the global stage, Stacia's journey inspires us to push beyond our limits and to chase our dreams relentlessly. Thank you for joining us on the episode of Coach Stokes' Champions Creed. Until next time, remember to embrace your champion within you and keep striving for greatness. And always remember what makes a champion: the foods you eat, the times you sleep, the friends you keep, the knowledge you seek, and the words you speak. My name is Coach Stokes, and I'm out.